Cool. Let's do it. Mr. Landscape Lighting Live himself, Ryan Lee. Happy Wednesday. How you doing, buddy?
What is up? What is up? Happy to be here, man. This is exciting.
I'm excited. I'm in the dining room right now. Angela is on Dan's show, so they're jamming out in the office.
Nice.
I got crammed into the pier ocean background. I've got a lighting that's kind of like twitching right now, so if it looks like a strobe's going off, I'm not at the dance club yet, but we're here and we're live.
Dude, I love it. So are you converting your house to a studio where, depending on which podcast you're doing or Facebook Live, you guys will have like all these different rooms? I love it.
If you walk into our office, it's funny. She has her desk, what she does, Unleash Your Courage, and in the foxhole is the background over there. Then I've got my desk, which is another background for a different thing. Then we use this one for like overflow, and we're both doing something. And then she's got outside that she likes to do too. So we have 4 options. But I would love to like just have a spinning desk where we could just rotate.
That's a good idea. Each wall is a different show.
Yeah. Yes. We got to keep the viewers guessing on where we are.
And then you guys are on the road all the time too at different destinations. So I love following you guys.
Speaking of on the road, we just went to the home service workshop in Phoenix, Arizona last week, and we just got a Rodecaster Pro 2, which is really cool. I really like the thing. And it was brand new. And I said, Ange, let's just load it up in a suitcase. So we had a little carry-on suitcase. We had the Rodecaster, 4 microphones, 4 headsets, all the stuff to get out there. Getting ready to go live for Unleash Your Courage Wednesday afternoon. Hit power on the Rodecaster, and boom, the thing just doesn't turn on. Brand new, just doesn't turn on. And we're like, well, maybe it's the plug. We tried everything, and the next 2 days just went out the books. We're going to do in the foxhole recordings out there at the event, and it just ruined the whole event for us. So that kind of stuff. I mean, that was a bummer, but.
So I stopped doing, I thought at first I'll take the show on the road, and I'd go to like trade show. I'd go to the huge convention. I'd go wherever, GIE. I was like, this is gonna be cool. Cause then people who couldn't go for whatever reason, maybe they were cheap, whatever, like they'll get to experience it. But dude, every single time it was something. People like, I couldn't hear that person. It was too loud, or you were unprepared. It was like, I just gave up. I'm only doing it in the comfort of my own place here.
Yeah, and we were excited to do it, and then it just is a big flop, and we're like, well, we just spent all this time and the money on all this, shipping it over here and everything to the bus. Never again. So you get the home entertainment from now on.
Love it.
So Ryan, you're just coming off a huge win, Landscape Lighting Live down in Tampa.
I am, man. Holy cow! I'm glad you said it phrase it as a huge win, because it was a win for me. It was a win for our team. It was a win for the attendees. Like I never dreamed in a million years that I would be putting on Landscape Lighting Live events, just even like 5 years ago. Like that was not the plan. People are like, that's cool, you thought of that. I'm like, no, I did it out of necessity, out of demand. I tried telling people, like, I don't know, just like call some manufacturers, call some distributors, just go buy some lights and figure it out. And people are like, there's nothing out there like what we need. And they just kept asking. So I finally like, shit, I guess I'll just put together a training. I wanted to be just the business guy. I only wanted to teach pricing, sales, marketing. Like that's my wheelhouse. But Landscape Lighting Live is like helping people get into the industry, learning the basics, the fundamentals of how to wire a transformer. What is a transformer? What is low voltage lighting? How does it work? And it was awesome, man. It was so cool.
Yeah, I had so much fun last year, and for years, it was 3 years prior to going, I was like, I'm going to do landscape lighting. I'm going to do landscape lighting. I mean, even Brian says Landscape Live is awesome with the Lizard.
Brian, I think he's got the record for the most times attending, which we can talk about why it makes sense to come back in a minute. But
yeah. And, finally last year I said, I'm doing it. I took Patrick down there, and I love Christmas lights. Obviously everybody knows I love Christmas lights, and I wanted to get landscape lighting, and in my head, it was like, oh my God, this is so hard. I don't want to relearn like all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just going to be like, I've got to go all in, but I got to make sure we're all in and know everything. And then I went down there, and you broke it down for me. And I was like, GC, like, good Lord, what have you been waiting for? Like, you made me realize, like, I wasted 2 years of not doing landscape lighting. Not saying it's easy to get into by no means, but it was easier than I anticipated. And you
Hmm.
like lit a fire up my ass to get going, and got so excited. And we really are excited for 2024. Patrick and I were just talking. We're building out a plan, a roadmap for 2024, to get more clients this year. But there's something, with the Christmas lights. I loved what we do to be able to light up lives, spirits, and all that stuff during the holidays, things like that. But there's something about transforming somebody's home, somebody's property, whatever it is, and just being able to highlight and showcase the beauty of their property, the trees, the buildings, the fountains, things like that. It's like, it's sexy. It really is, like being able to turn this dark, dull space into a piece of art that they didn't even know was available to them, because all they knew was dark or cheap solar lights. And that
Right.
on there and transformed it into this masterpiece where they can now appreciate their home at night. And you talk about the safety, the security, and all those other cool features of adding landscape lights. But the way you broke it down and delivered it over 2 days just made me feel safe going home, to feel like, all right, we're going to be able to deliver to our clients like an incredible service, at a very high level.
Nice. It brings me joy to know that I made you feel bad and guilty. And that's my mission, is just make people feel bad about themselves. Like, I wish I would have done this sooner. Um, but I'm joking around, but like a lot of people have that same experience. They're like, wait, what? Especially if they have holiday lighting experience. Like, why didn't that's the regret. Like, dude, I could have been doing this for the last 2 years, 5 years, however long,
Yep.
because it's not that complicated. It's a transformer, it's wire, it's fixtures and connections. There's some hiccups. There's some stuff that you're gonna have to figure out: how to get under sidewalks, how to mount it to a roof, what lights to use, the design. There are things like that, but that's why you join a group. That's why you get mentorship. But at the end of the day, you got people doing a shit ton of holiday lighting, doing with real power, 120 volts, that will light you up on really steep roofs. Like,
Mhm.
if you can do that, you can do landscape lighting.
Yeah, and it's just like any other service that we added. When we did roof cleaning, like everywhere we went and I saw a dirty roof, I'm like, oh my God, that roof is so dirty. And then, like, my team would be the same way. And then Christmas lights. Anytime we go by a house or a building and we see lights that weren't done by us, like, oh my God, that's so horrible. Today, I went to go look at a commercial property for Christmas lights. And of course, the property manager's like, oh, there's power by the trees. And of course, she means there's landscape lighting by the trees, which isn't, 110 for Christmas lights, blah, blah. Anyway, I get to this property and I cried. Like, I internally cried because I'm seeing all these landscape lights, like spotlights, just laying flat. I went up to this one juncture in the light, and there was 6 wires going to, all together, with like the smallest wing nut or nut on there. All the wires exposed. They're touching each other, and I'm like, it makes me cringe too, because you teach us to do it right. Be the perfectionist, do it right the first time, and leave a happy client. And then you got these other companies out there that are just charging crazy amounts for all this work and just doing half-ass stuff and walking away from them and saying like, that's good. And I could never do that. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, how do people professionally like feel good about themselves to be able to charge a customer a premium price and just leave all this like this and walk away and say that's good? So now anytime I see a landscape lighting project, I'm like, well, we would have done this differently. And I'm not saying everything they do is wrong by no means, because we're not the experts, but it's just fun to go see the different ways people, different companies install the lights and how they do it and how I would approach it differently from the way that you were showing us down in Florida, and just seeing other guys talk about lights.
Yeah, I know. I do the same thing. It drives my wife crazy. But the cool thing is, she and my kids were all becoming these lighting snobs. It's like you drive by and you're like, I can't believe that. Like, who would have that type of lighting on their property? And you have to say it with an accent and stuff. But
Yeah.
the thing is, here's what's cool about the lighting industry is, and we're always going to have that. You're always going to have like crappy to medium to professional installs. Like, that's always going to exist. But here's how I gauge, like, if the industry's like too saturated. It's always a concern for any business. Like, is it already too saturated? It's like, if it was too saturated with professionals, you'd see less and less of that. But what do you see most of? You see mostly crappy lighting,
Yeah.
which means the demand is greater than the supply, because the demand is someone saying, "Hey, handyman, while you're here, could you look at the lighting?" Like, they're not calling on a professional because they don't know how to find the professional. Because
Right.
if you are a professional in that market, that's on you, because you didn't do a good enough job marketing. You didn't do a good enough job branding, so that they call you instead of ask their handyman. Hey,
Yeah.
electrician that's used to wiring stuff in attics and no design skill, no customer service, no whatever. Can you come do this? Sure. Of course they can put lights in, but is it the proper lighting for the proper location? That just tells you that the demand for professionally design and install lighting is way higher than the supply.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, the one thing that I'd say differentiates the landscape lighting versus the Christmas lighting is, you put a C9 on bulb on a house and it's a C9 bulb. Whether you put it on a peak, a dormer, a gutter line, it's a C9 bulb. With the landscape lighting live, you've got different fixtures, different, drop in versus whatchamacall, I can't think of the name right now because I'm on my brain fart.
Modular.
Modular, the different degrees and all. There's like so many different things that go into it. So it's not just like one light. There's different options, different routes you can take to highlight or accent, uplighting, downlighting, all that different stuff. So
I think that's one thing that like scares people off, because it can be super overwhelming. And so that's what we try to do, is simplify it. Like, just because everything's available doesn't mean you have to use it. And when you're good, you can use that to your advantage, because you can offer this fully customized, amazing thing that your competition's not doing. But if you simplify and say, you know what, I'm going to put a light on each side of the window on the house and each side of the front entry, you're already way better, as you've noticed as you drive around. That design, as simple as it is going to look way better than like 90% of what everyone else is doing. And it's like the very first basic thing you're going to learn when you're installing lighting.
Yeah. And it's trial and error too. I mean, if you go ahead and put 1 degree in there, you want to change it to a different one, it's an easy swap. It's not like you have to redo the whole job, but just swap out the fixture, swap out the drop in, whatever.
Yep.
And then you're good to go. So it's sometimes you might think you need one and you put it up and go back, and now you're like, well, maybe we should go with the other style. So it's, just like like I call my barber. She's the artist and I'm the canvas. We're the artist of the house, and the property is the canvas, and we'll design how we see fit for that property. And sometimes we need to change things as we go along.
Yeah, 100%.
Just swap out the fixture, swap out the drop in, whatever, and how we fit. Going on Facebook there.
All right, I'm good.
All right. So landscape lighting was a huge success. I mean, I got it. Every time I saw somebody posting about it, it's like, whoa, wait, you're there? Oh my God, you're there? I mean, it seemed like half of the lighting industry was down there attending your class. You had 50, was it close to 50?
Yeah. No, we had 50 attendees, and then 2 that this goes in. They're in one of my other memberships. And one of the advantages of being in Legends is you get to send one of your team members to a Landscape Lighting Live for free once a year. So we had 52.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I was down there for the Tampa event. And one of the best parts, well, it was all really cool. I mean, it really was. I'm not just saying that to say that. I really enjoyed it. But I really did enjoy going to Garden and touring their facility and get to know like that family, that culture. And I pride myself on the culture of my company, but they made my culture look weak. And like I love the morale and the way they work together, and that they invited us to their property. They invited us to their building and showed us everything and didn't hold anything back from us. They said, here, whatever you want, here you go. So that was definitely a huge bonus, I thought, for when I attended last year.
Yeah, we did the same thing. People love that element of it. Like seeing that, like, wait, no, actually fixtures are made here. A lot of people here, well, yeah, but something's got to come from China. Like, yeah, so, the diodes, the LEDs are going to come. Like, there's certain things, but to see them literally like making fixtures there, like they're making Rolex watches, is pretty dang cool. And to have that experience, and then to share that with your future customers, that like, no, we take this serious. In fact, we visited this manufacturer to see how they do things, and understand that one thing right there is going to separate you from your competition.
100% hands-on in the facility. It just, you get to speak about it from experience. And it's like, yeah, we get this product from so-and-so. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because there's other manufacturers that we use too, that we've never been to, but to say that we were actually there and I could speak about their culture and how it, relates to our culture, and that's why we chose them as our supplier and stuff like that. That goes a long way when you're talking to a client, because now you're speaking from experience, and you're getting more on the emotional level instead of just like, yeah, we use this company and they sell us lights, and that's
And I love Garden Light. I mean, that's who I bought mostly from. I've got a relationship with them. I mean, they're very. I mean, to strangers, they're very accommodating and open up and stuff. So we became friends over time, going on trips together. They've come to Utah. We've taken our kids to their place. So I am a super fan of Garden Light, but I got clients, this, that are using all sorts of different manufacturers. They're not the only manufacturer that you can buy from. I do
No.
have a relationship with them, and that's who I use. But there's a ton of other good manufacturers, distributors, and it kind of depends on a lot of different things: where you're located, what your competition using, what can you use to be different. And even when I was using primarily Garden Light, we still have specialty lights and different things that we're buying from other manufacturers. So it's always important to be abreast of like what's out there, what's coming. We had Lumion is a newer manufacturer in the last few years. They donated for raffle a free demo kit. Okay, this
Oh,
is
cool.
$1,000 plus demo kit
Yeah.
that I didn't pay for, that they gave to us to just raffle off. That was freaking cool,
That's
So we're getting the support from other people, and I think that's awesome because I'm not here to tell you what fixtures to buy or anything like that. There's a lot of good ones out there. They're just tools to make money. I'm here to help you with your pricing, sales, and marketing to make sure you make a fortune and you can buy whatever lights you want, right?
right. Yeah, like you said, it depends on your needs, and location too is a big thing. If it's going to take me 4 days to get a product and I need it tomorrow, maybe that's not the best option for a distributor. So, and you had Emery Allen out there. They got a bunch of cool swag they gave out last year too.
Yep. And Tom's been awesome. He's the CEO, the owner of Emery Allen. They've been a big supporter of ours. And at first, I never even heard I didn't know their product. I never used them. And so I was like, I don't know. Like, what if this guy like sponsors me and it's just a bunch of garbage or something. But it's been cool because everywhere I go now, people are like, oh, yep, using Emery Allen. And they're not going to use it just because they heard about them on my show if it doesn't last. You know what I mean? So it's cool to see them taking their
about you.
woohoo. And Tom's awesome. He's just a wealth of knowledge. He's
Yeah.
a nerdy engineer. So like if you have a technical question, I'm like, I don't know. Can we just go back to pricing? And like Tom's over there, like ask him the technical questions.
So I mean, from the time you posted this class to the time you sold out, it was fast. I mean, I remember the initial launch of it, and like most events, everybody's like, I'll just wait. And then all of a sudden it's like, I remember you posting like, I have 3 tickets left, 2, 1. And it was like that. And it was just
Right.
gone. So for those that I did miss out on Landscape Lighting Live, shame on you. What is the next opportunity for somebody to go attend an incredible event like this? Pat, what's up, buddy?
What up, Pat? Hey, so, I think people thought I was joking. Like, cause that's marketing,
Right.
oh, you got to buy now. And like, tickets are selling fast, like whatever the normal stuff is. I probably was saying the normal stuff, but it was like, no, I'm serious, guys. Like all of our tickets are gone. There's 10 left. There's 5, there's 2. And, we had people at the event that had already bought 1 or 2 or 3 tickets saying, hey, I'm going to, next week, I just realized I want to bring another person. Can I bring a ticket? Well, financially, the smart thing would be like, hell yeah, here's a link. Let me take some of that money. It was not a joke. Like we didn't have the capacity for it. We didn't want to. We had it planned for to break it into smaller groups. Like we didn't want to overwhelm our staff. We didn't want to overwhelm the people, and so it's real. And so our next one coming up is going to be kind of in conjunction with Clippa. They got their annual ClippaCon event in San Diego,
Yep.
and Greg Matthews is going to be one of the mentors. So
Please.
honestly, if you just bought a ticket just to go hang out with Greg, I promise you, it doesn't even matter what else we talk about. It will be worth the price of admission just because Greg's going to be there as a mentor. But it's San Diego, April 30th and May 1st, right before ClippaCon. And so what's cool is like Matt and his team, they're all stoked to have us there. And it's going to be, similar format, 2-day. Go to landscapelightinglive.com and get your ticket. It's not a joke. I mean, we got plenty of time. And so you might think, well, I'm going to see how this month goes and see how the funds go or whatever. But like, it's going to sell out. I got messages from friends of mine saying, hey, I know it's sold out, but we're homies, right? Like hook me up. And I'm like, Can we stay friends? And I still say no. It was awkward conversation. So like, I'm sticking to the plan. We actually opened up a few more slots. We got 55 slots this time, but still, they're all going to sell out. Like
Yeah,
it's not a
100%.
matter of if, but when. So don't wait. You might say, well, dude, it's like 3 months from now, 2 months, whatever. If you think like that, you're going to be on the outs because we've already sold a bunch of tickets and it's going to sell out.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt that it will sell out. So why wait if you know you're going to go? And here's the other thing too. I mean, what are you waiting for? Don't be like me and wait 2, 3 years and say like, all right, I'm going to wait for the perfect time. Like now is the perfect time. Even if you don't install your first job until July, August, September, like having that knowledge and that like in your brain just to get you fueled up for success and your marketing so you can feel more confident when you're trying to do the estimates and sell to customers, how to put the lights out for the demo kits and all that stuff. Like that's what it's all about. Like don't wait for like the day you're ready to launch your landscape lighting company and say, I need to go to Ryan Lee's class 2 months after. No, like do it now, set yourself up for success and have all that ammunition ready to be successful going into that season. So I think May is a great time to get it. If you wait later in the year, something else is going to come up. Another excuse is going to happen. So take
Yeah.
advantage of San Diego. San Diego is a beautiful place to be. Then you can go to Clipicon, which is really cool. Hang out with everybody over there too. So
It's honestly perfect because we're gonna have the 2 days intense landscape lighting, and then we're sticking around. So I'm speaking at Clippa. I've got a booth there. So it's gonna be landscape lighting, holiday lighting. Like we've never done anything like this. It's gonna be pretty spectacular. Every event we find out what the local thing is. Like we're gonna find something that's gonna make San Diego more special than the one in Tampa. And one thing I always hear anytime you do an event in April or May, you always get the same objection of like, wow, man, it's my busy season. I'm like, oh, so you were going to make $500 for those 2 days. So you were going to make $1,000. That's your busy season. Like this opportunity is worth way more than whatever your busy season is. Because even if you don't sell landscape lighting, the discussions that come out of this stuff
yeah,
is insane.
yeah,
These side discussions. The last night we had this party, and then I look over and there's these people huddled around the fire pit. That wasn't in the agenda. That wasn't like, okay, now you guys are all stars. You guys go do this awesome conversation and add value to each other. Like this shit just happens, right? So there's all these untangibles that happen at really any event, but it
anyway,
happened at Landscape Lighting Live that it's so worth it. So don't make the excuse that it's your big busy season and then you wait till the next one, which might not be till next year. Like that doesn't make any sense.
right, right. So I don't know if I've ever met Greg. Forgive me, Greg, if I have. I'm just horrible with names, but somebody actually sent me a picture of Greg while he was speaking. He was speaking there, right? I do want to make this get this right.
He wasn't at this last one.
Oh, okay. Then maybe it wasn't in that. All right. I'm going to back out. I thought it was him because you said he's going to the next one. Yeah. Brian said the fire pit combo. I saw a picture of that. Everybody hanging around there. Like I said, I talked to 4 or 5 people right afterwards and they said they loved it. Ton of like energy. And like I said, even if it's not directly related to sales in the landscape lighting business industry, you can apply it to your other business, whether it's pressure washing, Christmas light, whatever it is, because sales is sales, but you gave everybody a different approach to how to sell the landscape lighting, and you can apply that to your current business as well.
I had a guy, he messaged me on Monday night. So I don't even know how many days after that was after the event, like a couple. And he's like, hey, man, just want to say thanks. It was amazing, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, I already implemented, like, he's like, I just closed this deal on the spot, sold it for more money. That was awesome. And I was like, that's awesome. You already paid for the event. He's like, I know, it's amazing.
That's a
So,
great.
like, when people take risk, it's like, oh, I don't know if I should do that. They think they're risking more than they really are. Because let's say, worst case scenario, you go to an event, you go to Landscape Lighting Live, you pay the fee, you have your flight, you have your hotel, you got some other expenditures, right? Let's say the total comes out to $5,000, 10,000. It doesn't matter. You're staying in the fantasy suite and it's $20,000. You're never risking that entire amount. It's never going to be a complete loss. That would be like you didn't wake up, you didn't listen to anyone, you didn't take any notes, you didn't get any value. The chances of that are next to zero, right? You're always going to get some value out of it. And so that's how I make decisions with risk is like, if I'm buying a $60,000 truck, am I really risking 60? Because if I have like, you know what, I don't like this truck. Maybe I lose 10,000. Maybe I have to sell it the next day for 50,000. but that was a $10,000 mistake, not a $60,000 mistake.
Right.
That's how I make decisions, and I'm able to just commit to things because, and I'm not looking to lose $10,000 on a truck, but I can afford to lose 10,000 a lot more than I can afford to lose 60,000. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you got to look at it as an investment in yourself and your company. Because without being in these rooms and learning all these different things, you're just cutting yourself short of the potential of the things you'd be learning to apply to your business. When I went to Sales Boost 2019, I wasn't doing bundles and packages because I had this self-limiting belief that nobody wanted to do bundles and packages as a customer, and they're not going to spend $900 on a house wash and everything else. And when I left Sales Boost 2019, we went straight home, implemented bundles and packages, and our average ticket went from $3 something to almost $900.
That's crazy.
That's a huge ROI right there, because now every single job was increasing by $600. And the ROI for attending Sales Boost was incredible because we were able to apply that to every single job that we're selling. So, Miss Martha, hello.
That's awesome, man. Well, that's why I'm excited for Sales Boost. I have not been yet, right? I think in the past it was marketed to more towards like pressure washing, window cleaning type. And I had heard about it. I'd actually followed Pat Clark online. I met him at the Huge. I'm like, dude, I got to meet you. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but I got to meet you because we think the same, and like, even if I know a principle, like I know a sales principle, I need training. I need coaching. It's like, even if you're the best quarterback in the NFL, you still practice. You still have a coach say, no, you threw it at this angle. You need to change that. So I'm excited, like selfishly, to like be around you guys, because it's like, yeah, I am a coach. I am like in charge of this like organization and this community, but like I need help. I need refreshers. I need to sharpen my skills, and everything that I know about Sales Boost and what you guys have done and Pat Clark, just all that stuff is like, it's incredible. And I love it.
Yeah, Pat built an incredible brand with Sales Boost. 3 times I've been there, sent my team there twice now. And now to be able to host it here in Wilmington, North Carolina, March, extremely excited. The speaker lineup is insane. I mean, like you said, originally it was for the pressure washing with Pat's company, Precision Pro Wash, and then he started branching out to other businesses. And then, the last few years, he's kind of really opened it, understanding that sales is sales, whatever industry you're in. So if I'm trying to sell somebody for landscape lighting or Christmas lighting or pressure washing, the tactics are usually the same. Christmas lights, a little bit more emotional sale. Same thing with the landscape lighting. Like, nobody needs them, but they want it. But people need their house pressure wash.
Not true.
So everybody needs landscape.
Maybe you didn't pay attention, JC. I need you to come back and learn.
I'll see you back.
Need landscape lighting. People need landscape lighting from you, and people need landscape lighting from you today.
Yeah, I need the refresher.
When you flip that switch, it's this an easy game.
See, I'm learning from you right now, and so is the audience.
Not everyone can afford it.
That's
okay. True. Like you might be poor, you might live in an apartment, but you still need landscape lighting. The concept is still like, I am so brainwashed, and you can think I'm crazy. That's fine. But literally everybody needs landscape lighting, and not everyone can afford it. That's okay. We're not going to go try to sell to someone who can't afford it, but most of these people can't afford it. They may say they got to think about it. They got to get quotes, whatever, but that they need it. So I'm gonna keep coming after you, JC.
No, and that's why I love listening to you speak. I love watching your podcast and everything you do, because you're so passionate about it. I mean, you literally just shut me down right there, and just told me like, no, you're wrong. And that's what it needs to be, though. That's why people need to come to Sales Boost and hear you speak, because of how passionate you are when you are selling. You talked about the price marinate and all those other things. So for the viewers that are going to Sales Boost and hear you speak, like, just be ready, because it's a ton of energy, Ryan. I mean, you've got so much excitement when you deliver your speeches. I love everything you're doing. I'm very, very excited for you. And I hope to be at the May class. I got to talk to Matt and see what's going on with Clippa. But
JC, how good are you going to feel if you have a customer that calls you up and they say, hey, we need to get some lighting, and you get there and you start asking, find out questions, and they're like, why? And they're like, well, because someone broke into our house. I mean, even if everyone's okay, how does that make you feel? I mean, they're violated. They can't live in that house the same ever again. Right. So you're doing a disservice to your client by not thinking that they need landscape lighting.
Yeah.
How are you going to feel if someone has a bad day and beats their kid or does something worse, right? Like, just because they don't have good mental health, we can solve a lot of problems with lighting. So when I say people need landscape lighting, it's not just a shtick. It's not just oh yeah, let's do this to get people excited. Like, I truly am passionate about it and believe it. And because of my belief, like I'm like almost not willing to leave their house until they give me a check or they call the police. Like, and I tell them, like, here's why. Like, I care about you.
Yeah.
This is not about me getting a commission check. Like, I care about you. I believe you guys need landscape lighting. If you didn't, we wouldn't be talking, because I didn't just knock on your door. You called us.
Mm.
So when you have that belief, and it takes time, trust me, probably the first 10 years, I don't know if I believe that, but after a while, you're like, you have real experiences, your personal experiences where people tell you these things. Yeah, someone broke into our house. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is real. When they say on the thing, safety, security, beauty, like it's easy to just say security, but this is real.
Yeah.
Like it really is a deterrent. Safety, when someone's freaking mother or mother-in-law trips down the steps and gets hurt and has a lifelong injury because of it, that shit's real. It's not just safety. Like safety is just a word, security, whatever. Like these are real things. So I do mean to get passionate about it. I do mean to get fired up, because it's like, no, this isn't just a brochure we're talking about.
No, and that energy is what you need to sell, because you going in there like that versus me saying, yeah, you don't really need them, but if you want them, we'll put them up for you. Like they're probably going to go with you, and you're probably $4,000 more expensive than me, but they're going to get a great service though, and they'll be happy. Well, good deal, Ryan. For our viewers, what's the best way to find more information about? You already mentioned landscapelightinglive.com. They can find you on all the social media accounts, I'm sure.
Yeah. So we're growing as a company. So we've got kind of a value ladder that we're building. So here's my whole marketing plan, by the way. When someone wants to join my coaching program, I don't ever want to get on a call with someone and then them say, I can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that's really the number one thing that's going to hold someone back who wants coaching. If they don't want accountability, which most don't, if they don't want like true help, we're probably not going to talk anyway. But if we get on a call and someone's like, I just don't know if I can afford it, or is this the right decision, or I got to talk to my wife, like that should never happen. And because we don't want you to just start with like, I'm thinking about doing lighting, should I buy this coaching? Come to my podcast, come to my free Facebook group. We give so much value up front that you should be able to make tens of thousands of dollars. And then it's like, you should feel guilty to be like, I think I need to donate to the Ryan Lee charity. How much can I give you some money? Because you already helped me make tens of thousands of dollars. So it should be a no brainer. So we don't really try to sell. Like, that's not what this is about. Like, we want to give you as much value up front. So my podcast is Lighting for Profits. You go to lightingforprofits.com. You can find me on Landscape Lighting Secrets on YouTube. Follow me on Facebook. We do my free Facebook group at Landscape Lighting Secrets. So start there. Like, again, we want you to go there. If you start getting into it and you're like, dude, this is dope, I want to fast track my success, then come, go to landscapelightingsecrets.com, schedule a call. Jeffrey's our client coordinator. He'll run you through everything. He gives you a whole strategy session where we'll walk you through where you're at, where you want to be, and see if we can bridge that gap. At the end of that call, you're either going to get massive value, or you're going to get massive value. And that's fine. If it's not a good fit, here's some things you can do. If it is a good fit, he can tell you about the program. But yeah, our thing is just all about value. And we don't want someone feeling like pressured to make a choice or anything like that. So we have these free things that can help you just get started. And then, if you're like, yeah, I'm in, I want to do this, then come to Landscape Lighting Live. That's a great event. And what's cool is, even if you're like not new, because we had a lot of new people, we had a lot of people who are already in my coaching program or already have experience, and they're learning quite a bit each Landscape Lighting Live about new techniques for design, for install, for sales, pricing, marketing, because it's a live event. It's a real moving and breathing thing. It's not an online Zoom meeting or anything like that. There's these side discussions that happen that you can't really put a value on.
Yeah. And that's where the real magic happens. I say it over and over, whether I think you said Brian's been to 3 of them now. And I don't think we brought this up, but like every time you go to the same event, you're not wasting money by going back to the same event. Like, you're going there with a different mindset. You're going there with a different, why you want to be there. So if I went to Sales Boost last year and I go to Sales Boost this year, like, my leadership mentality changed, my sales capacity changed, everything changes. So if I hear you speak year over year over year, I'm going to hear, even if it's the same speech, every year I'm going to hear things a little bit differently. I'm going to learn things a little bit differently. I'm going to be able to talk to people a little bit differently. And I'm going to be able to continue to grow instead of stay stagnant and just be the same JC that went 1 year and that's all I've learned for the next 5 years. So that's why it is important to go to these events repeatedly, because you're going to continually learn, and things are always changing and evolving.
Yeah, big time. I mean, that's how I feel about everything. You could read a book twice and you're going to get something out of the second time. It's not like, oh, I already read that book. Like, well, read it again.
Yeah.
Like, and that literally is an example of the exact same thing. Thing about events, we're always changing. We're always testing speaker and topics and formats. And so everyone's going to be different anyway. But even if it was the exact same thing, like a printed book, there's so much value out of it. So the key with all this stuff is you got to take action. If you come to Landscape Lighting Live and just hang out for a couple of days and don't do anything about it, then maybe it was a waste. Maybe you shouldn't have come. Right? You've got to be prepared to like, okay, what are the top 2 things you're going to take out of each day, and you're going to go home and get your return on an investment. If you're intentional, dude, you can get your investment back in one deal. If you're slow and lazy and don't commit, then you're just an event guy, which
Yeah.
there are event guys out there, right? But we actually charge a premium price to try to not get event guys there.
Right. Yeah.
We're not doing this for $200. I think the San Diego's 17.95 or 7 or something like that. Like, we want it to be significant enough to be like, no, someone who's going to pay this and then the hotel and the flight, they're serious. And we don't want people's money. We want results for people, because when they get results, that's why we're in the business, and that's when everyone's happy. We're not going to grow by increasing people's expenses. If we can increase their investment, it's going to help us and it's going to help them.
Yeah. And, speaking of intentional, we talked about that at the end of the Huge. You were that the class with Angela and I, Pat, and Michael.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
It was fun because we got to actually sit down and like at the end of the Huge convention, like sit down and be intentional on what we learned and how we're going to implement it, instead of going home and like, oh, what did we talk about? Like you said, go there with a reason, go there with a goal, go with their wanted to talk to somebody, wanted to learn something new about a different product or a different way to install things or a different way to sell things. This way you can leave there with that information and then figure out how to apply that and implement to your business, instead of just going like, I heard they had free beer at noon or something like that. Like, don't be that guy. You spent the money, you invested in yourself. So get that ROI on that investment while you're out there.
Am I going to talk about what Sales Boost, what I'm talking about at Sales Boost?
Yes. Sorry. God, I got so distracted with everything else. So much energy.
Because I want to talk. I'm fired up, you guys. I had no idea that I liked public speaking. I didn't know that I like speaking from stage, but it's like I've never done hardcore drugs, but I would imagine it's like this. Like, it's such a good feeling. Like, it's amazing. So I'm super excited and grateful that you guys are having me there. It's just one of my favorite things to do. I absolutely love it. So I don't know. I've got you're having me speak like 17 times, right? I've got a bunch of
maybe
sessions.
18, something like that. Yeah. We just kicked everybody off and they're watching you speak the whole time.
Cool. Now, I'm always like, can I speak more? It's usually just one time, but I'm like, I love this. Like, so if you get someone that cancels, or you just need me to speak in like a closet or something like that, I'm in.
I'll just give you
It's so fun. And I feed off the energy of the people and the audience and stuff like that. So I'm excited. We're going to be talking about pricing and sales. I like talking about them both together because they mix so well. And what I'm an expert at is helping you sell more deals at a premium price. And a lot of people are like, I don't know if I can do that. So we get into mindset and the mentality behind it and how to raise your price without losing clients, right? So I'm just fired up. I can't wait to be a part of it. Like I said, I'm extremely grateful that I get to actually be at Sales Boost, and then on top of that, I get to speak. So come check out. I don't even know what time, what day, what stage, whatever. But come check out my session. It doesn't matter if you're selling beef jerky. Like, I know I'm going to be able to help you out. So even if secretly I am like, I'm going to convert everybody and they're all going to start landscape lighting businesses, right? But honestly, if you don't, you're going to learn something from my class. We're going to talk pricing and sales, and you're going to leave with the ability to go take action. So if the only thing you do is come to mind, you're going to leave and be able to do that following Monday, go close a deal and make more profit on that very next deal.
Love that. Super excited to have you. I don't know which day you're speaking, but that's good because we want everybody showing up for the whole event. And I mean, it's literally three days of action-packed speakers. I mean, we got the welcome reception on Wednesday night, the 20th. Thursday, we open up with Tommy Lee. I just say
Tommy Mello. Is that a Ryan Lee and Tommy Mello baby?
Not the Pamela and Tommy Lee, but yeah,
Okay.
Tommy Mello.
If Tommy Mello and Ryan Lee had a baby.
Ryan Mello and Tommy Lee is but yeah, I mean, just nonstop. And then we're doing a panel on Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday we will have an implement. So we actually do open it up Thursday with an implementation process where we'll have
Cool.
worksheets for people to kind of fill out why they're there, what they're hoping to get, who they want to speak to. So we have a goal in mind, and then we're going to close it out with, all right, now you learned all this stuff. How are you going to go home and implement it? So you're not going home with like all these thousands of ideas. Let's talk about maybe the easiest one to implement now, so we can check something off that list, feel good about it, and get that energy going for the next one. So yeah, March 20th to 23rd, salesboostlive.com. And Wilmington, North Carolina, if you've never been, it's an incredible place right on a historic downtown Wilmington, riverfront, battleship right across the street, this historic USS North Carolina. It's a really cool place to be. So I'm excited, so super grateful for you to be there. And that is the next time I see you. So I'll see you in March and I'll see you in May. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. I'm excited too to check out your hometown there.
All right, Ryan. Well, I do appreciate you. I appreciate all our viewers for watching. Again, salesboostlive.com. And if you have not been to Landscape Lighting Live, you do need to check that out. You're only selling yourself short by not attending. And again, like, the only regret I had was not going sooner. I mean, you truly like set our company up for success to do landscape lighting, because it was just that fear of like the unknown. And you said, hey, it's going to be okay. And here's how we're going to do it. So I appreciate you, buddy.
I'll console you anytime you need, JC.
Oh, and fun story, fun fact. Even before I went to Landscape Lighting Live, you truly like went out of your way at Nashville in a restaurant on a bar napkin.
That was fun.
And drew up the first landscape lighting job I did. Like, you took time without even being a client of yours or anything like that. Like, you said, here's how you're going to do it. And it worked. So I do appreciate you. I'll never forget that.
That's all. I mean, it's such a cool story. I wish so many things in my life were just filmed. You know, like I wish we had a recording of that, because that was a cool experience.
Like, I could have put that napkin in a frame, like Ryan.
Frame you probably just threw it in the garbage. No, it is cool. Like I remember when you bought a ticket, I was like, oh, dude, he's coming. And then it's happening more and more. It happened at this session too, where I'm like, dude, I think I might start advertising the attendees list.
Yeah,
because the people in this room are pretty magical. I'm like, dude, at some point they're going to want me to pay them to show up.
I had serious FOMO every time somebody posted they're going, or so I'm like, good God, I knew I should have gone again.
Like, we might just like not even teach content. We just like, here, you guys are together, like figure out how to make billions of dollars, because that's who's coming to these things. It's an impressive list. And I literally am like, oh my gosh, like it puts pressure on me. Like, oh man, these guys actually know what they're doing. I need to make sure that we over deliver here. Like, it would be worth showing up just to be with the other attendees. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ryan Fox and Brett Madison, they've been installing landscape lighting, for years.
Yeah.
But they knew that they're going to get so much by attending your class. So it's not just for beginners. Like, if you got to get rid of that mindset, like, I can't learn anymore. No, you got to get there. You got to learn. You got to be available to just to grow your company personally and professionally.
Well, it blew me away last fall in Utah when Greg Matthews bought 2 tickets for him and his wife. And I'm like, dude, he's in my coaching program. He does very well. We don't share numbers, but I did not design Landscape Lighting Live for Greg Matthews, right? Just throwing that out there. And I'm like, what do I need to do? Call him and tell him, like, take your money back. It's going to be a waste. Like, I'm like, what do I say? And what's cool is, like, he's there participating, asking questions, learning. And like, he's such a good example of that. Like, always be learning. He was just on our podcast a couple weeks ago. We were talking about it. It's like, no, he's not one to be like, well, yeah, I already know that. He's always finding the new angle, the new thing. And it's not always this big, bright new idea. It's like, wait a minute, that little thing changes the trajectory 1 degree, and you go out far enough, and now you're at a totally new destination, right? So it's cool. I love it when I meet people like that, and people that are willing to do things that others wouldn't expect them to do. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I need to get off, but I don't want to get off, because now, like, thinking back, like, you're done installing landscape lighting. Like, you've had your company, you sold it. and now you're doing this and teaching everybody about it. But you yourself are still investing yourself. I mean, you went to 2 events with Illy, right?
Oh yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was intense. That wasn't like a 1 day, 2 day. Like you
No,
sacrificed a ton of time away from your family to go out there and continue to learn how to be successful, to share that knowledge with other people who are going to it. And you're not installing lights anymore. Am I right on that?
that's right. Yeah. No, and they're week long. I mean, it's like 6 days as an attendee, and then another day they add as a mentor. And so, and like, yeah, that's 2 weeks out of an entire year that I'm investing, because I don't consider myself, I didn't start Landscape Lighting Secrets to teach people next level design. So
Mhm.
I'm trying to find other resources that I can be like, listen, let's help you here. You got a question? Go to Illy. I've done the research. They are good. Like, you're going to learn way more about lighting design from them than from me, So, yeah, I'm always trying to level up. I've got my own coaches. I've got my own stuff that I'm trying to make sure that I'm always at the top of my game and my blade's always sharp.
Yeah, I thought that spoke volumes about you. Like I said, you weren't there to learn how to do it yourself. You learned, be able how to provide more value to your clients and to anybody who reaches out to you. So that says a lot about you. Like, always be growing, always be learning.
100%. Thanks for having me on here, man. I appreciate it.
All right, Ryan. Thanks, viewers, and we'll talk soon. Take
See you
care.
guys.